I'm about to tell you 107 Squid Game facts you didn't know. Some are dark, some are hidden, and some will change how you see the show forever. So whether you're new to the games or you've rewatched them 10 times, you're about to learn something because the first few facts show it was always clear Il-nam was lying, and you missed it. In red light, green light, the doll locks eyes with 455 players, but not him. Every scan lights up green, full body, glowing, except Il-nam's. His outline is thin, dim, like he's invisible. Then he charges forward, smiling, not flinching, not scared. That wasn't courage, that was control. And the system knew never to shoot him. But the biggest cheat? It was hiding on the walls the whole time. From the very beginning, the players were surrounded by spoilers. The dorm walls, they weren't just decoration, they were a cheat sheet. Every single game was painted right there. Tug of war, marbles, the glass bridge, but the beds blocked them. Only after people died did the clues start to show. Fewer players meant fewer beds, and the full blueprint slowly emerged. The real twist? One player didn't need the drawings. He already knew the order by heart. In Dalgona, Il-nam lets Gi-hun choose first.
You pick first. Go on.
Gi-hun picks the umbrella. Il-nam, he takes the star. Not the easiest, but safer, faster. Then he smiles and says,
Oh no, the star. Sounds great.
it wasn't a random choice. And next round, he'll remember a secret strategy that wins them the whole match. In Tug of War, Il-nam ends up on the weakest team. No strength, no chance. But then he gives them the perfect plan. Stagger positions, lean back, wait, and somehow it works better than anyone expects. This wasn't childhood wisdom. It was a blueprint, one that only the game's creator would know by heart. And yes, there were clues everywhere that Il-nam was behind it all, but none more obvious than what happened when he spoke, and everyone stopped. During the night fight in episode 4, dozens of players are being killed. The guards just stand there. No one stops it until Il-nam climbs up and yells for help. Then suddenly, the lights turn on. The fight ends. The staff obeys. This isn't a theory, it's a fact. The guards only act after Il-nam gives the order. It's one of the clearest signs that he's not just another player, he's in charge. And the next moment just clearly gives it all away, but we still somehow missed it. In episode 5, Detective Jun-ho breaks into the archives. He flips through the files, one for every player. But the first file, player 002. There's no file for 001. No photo, no record, nothing. This isn't a fan theory, it's a fact shown in the episode. Il-nam didn't have a file because he wasn't a real contestant. And when the next game required choosing partners, he tried to disappear because he knew what happened to players who were left alone. Right before the marbles game, players were told to pair up. Whoever didn't get a partner got a free pass. And what does Il-nam do? He hides in the corner, alone. While everyone else scrambles, he just sits there, waiting, because he already knows the odd one out won't die. They get sent back to the dorm. That's exactly what happens to Minyo. She doesn't get picked, and she's automatically advanced. Il-nam wasn't confused. He was hoping for the same escape, but Gi-hun picks him last minute and forces him to play. That's when Il-nam changes the rules, because the arena, it's not random. In episode 6, during the marble game, Il-nam suddenly stops playing. He starts wandering through the fake neighborhood and says,
I know my house is nearby. It's somewhere down this alley.
It seems like confusion, but it's not. The set is a perfect copy of his childhood street because he built it. This wasn't a hallucination, it was home. And right after that moment, the show gave us one last clue. In Squid Game, every player death is shown on screen, except one. When Il-nam loses the marble game, the camera cuts away. No blood, no body, no fall. Just a single gunshot, off screen. That's not theory, that's a fact. He's the only contestant whose death isn't shown, and it happens just before something very specific. After marbles, Il-nam disappears. The next game, the glass bridge. It has the highest kill rate in the show, besides red light, green light. If Il-nam had stayed, he'd have to jump, pick a glass tile, hope it doesn't shatter beneath him. Way too risky for someone trying to stay alive. So he died right before it started. Perfect timing. And if that wasn't obvious enough, his name spelled it out from day one. Sometimes the biggest twist is hidden in plain sight. Il-nam's full name is Oh Il-nam, and in Korean, Il means one, and Nam means man. So yeah, his name literally translates to number one man. It was the truth the whole time. We just didn't know how literal it was. And right before he disappears, he gives Gi-hun something more than a goodbye. In the dorm before Game 4, something strange happens. Il-nam gives Gi-hun his jacket. Not by accident. He chooses not to return the 456 jacket. He gives him his own. Some fans believe this was a signal, a quiet message to the guards. This one's under my protection. It's never confirmed, but in a place where numbers are life or death, a jacket swap could mean everything. And the next game, Il-nam plays dumb, on purpose. He remembered every game, but forgot how to play marbles? Come on. At the end, he says he knew Gi-hun was cheating. So yeah, it was all fake. The show never says it out loud, but it's a fact. Il-nam was testing him the whole time, and before that, he tested everyone. After red light, green light, the vote is tied. And the last vote, Il-nam. He chooses to end the game, not out of mercy, but to filter the weak. The VIPs only want players who choose to suffer. Il-nam made sure only the desperate came back. It's in the rules, and it was always part of his design. We've talked about the creator inside the show, but what about the one behind the camera? When Squid Game dropped, fans pointed fingers fast. They copied As the Gods Will. Both stories start with red light, green light. Both have creepy dolls. Both end in blood. But here's the truth. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk wrote the first draft in 2008. That's 6 years before the Japanese film came out. No plagiarism, just parallel nightmares. And speaking of parallels, there's one hiding in Gi-hun's first gift. In episode 1, Gi-hun buys a gift for his daughter. Black box, tied with a ribbon, cute on the outside. Inside, a toy gun. Later, the dead players are sealed in the same thing. Black coffins with pink bows, a gift wrap for death, and a message. What looks harmless kills. And that's not the only twisted link to his daughter. In episode 1, Gi-hun apologizes to his daughter.
You know, I wanted to buy you a nicer dinner than this.
She tells him,
We went with my stepdad to a steakhouse earlier, so...
Flash forward. Before the final game, Gi-hun is served steak. Same meal, but this time it's not for a birthday. It's a final meal before death. A perfect callback. Sweetness turned sour, and that twisted irony, it comes for Ali too. In episode 2, Ali confronts his abusive boss, and when he doesn't get paid, he steals the money, grabs it and runs because he's desperate. Flash forward to the marble game. Sang-woo tricks him, takes his marbles, walks away. Same betrayal, same desperation, different victim. The show made it poetic. Ali got done exactly how he did others, and he's not the only one who dies full circle. In episode 2, Deok-soo escapes by jumping off a bridge. That's how he lives. But in episode 7, that's how he dies. He falls again, this time dragged down by Minyo. Same arc, same angle, very different ending. The show didn't just punish him, it looped him. And that death symmetry? Jun-ho gets it too. In episode 3, Jun-ho kills a guard, then dumps his body into the ocean. 5 episodes later, the exact same thing happens to him. He's shot by the frontman, his own brother, and thrown into the sea. Shot. Overboard. Just like the body he tossed, the show mirrors his crime down to the frame. It's not just karma, it's choreography, and one player missed all the signs. Player 111, the organ harvesting doctor, had help from the inside. He knew what games were coming, or so he thought, but while he carved bodies in secret, the real answers were above him. Every game was painted on the dorm walls, hidden behind the beds, waiting to be seen. He thought he was ahead, but the clues were never secret. They were public, and he still missed them. And when those bodies were packed up, even the coffins had a hidden story. Those black boxes with pink ribbons weren't just creepy, they were intentional. Art director Choi Kyung-sun explained it like this. This is my gift to you. Even your bodies being disposed in the incinerator is a show of my mercy. Then she added, so I thought, what if I put a ribbon on it? It's twisted, it's cruel, and it perfectly mirrors the logic of the game's creator. Death disguised as a gift, a box that promises nothing except the end. But the first time we see this mindset in action isn't in a coffin. In episode 1, Gi-hun plays Dak-ji. If he loses, he gets slapped. But that wasn't just a gimmick. It's based on real Korean school punishments. Slapping used to be routine, used to train obedience. And the red and blue envelopes? Not random. They mirror the Korean urban legend Akamanto. Choose red or blue. You die either way. The game gives you a choice, but it's not real. Just like Squid Game itself, a system that trains you through pain. And when Gi-hun survives all that pain, he doesn't just leave with money. He leaves changed. After winning the games, Gi-hun goes to a hair salon and dyes his hair bright red. It shocked fans. Some thought it meant blood, or maybe a signal he'd join the guards. But the real meaning came from director Hwang Dong-hyuk himself. He said, Gi-hun is different now. If I was him, I'd do something I'd never do. I picked red hair. It's like Gi-hun's anger. It's not about disguise, it's about change. Gi-hun came out of the games alive, but he's not the same man who went in. And that spirit of bold choices, Hwang made one before the show ever aired. Before it was a global phenomenon, Netflix wanted to call it something else. Round 6. Safe. Generic. But director Hwang Dong-hyuk fought back. Squid Game was weird, nostalgic, a real game from his childhood. Netflix was worried the name wouldn't travel, but Hwang knew. The title had to feel dangerous. It had to feel like a trap, and he won. Now, Squid Game is one of the most iconic titles in streaming history, and one of its most iconic characters wasn't not what you think. The red light, green light doll, not CGI, not fake. She's real. A working prop over 10 feet tall. After filming, they placed her at Matchaland, a horse carriage museum in Jincheon County, South Korea. She became a viral sensation. Tourists flooded the site until officials pulled her from public view. Too many selfies, too much chaos. She's still out there, just not where you'd expect. And the doll wasn't the only set built to mess with your head. Those twisted pastel stairs? They weren't just for style. The entire set was inspired by M.C. Escher's Relativity, a 1953 optical illusion where stairs lead everywhere and nowhere. In Squid Game, that's the point. No direction, no exit, no reality, just the illusion of progress while you stay trapped in the system. And the guards who patrol this maze, they weren't always faceless. The guards weren't always supposed to look like that. Director Hwang originally wanted Boy Scout-style uniforms, twisted innocence, childhood turned dark, but they showed too much of the men's bodies. Too individual, too human. He needed anonymity, a hive, so he gave them pink jumpsuits and geometric masks. Faceless, identical, disposable, like ants in a colony, programmed to obey. And while the guards looked inhuman on screen, the person behind the camera was falling apart. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk didn't just make Squid Game, it nearly broke him. He wrote most of it drunk on soju, alone in his apartment. He rewrote scenes dozens of times, lost funding, lost cast, and by the end, he lost 6 teeth. That's what it took to build this nightmare. Not just creativity, pain. And the character who hides the most pain? He's not a player. In-ho didn't start out evil, he started with a badge. Director Hwang confirmed it himself. The frontman used to be a cop. It explains everything. His calm under pressure, his surgical precision, his silence when his brother goes missing. It's not just backstory, it's a warning. Even protectors can become predators. And the biggest twist? Gi-hun and Sang-woo were never just characters. Gi-hun and Sang-woo aren't just characters, they're the director, split in half. Hwang Dong-hyuk said it himself. Gi-hun is his poor side, raised by a single mom, broke, in debt, from Sangmun-dong. Sang-woo is his smart side, top school, big pressure, high expectations, but always feeling like a fraud. They fight because they're both true. And that pain? It started with something real. Gi-hun's story isn't just made up, it's based on real pain. While it's not shown in the show on screen, Gi-hun's backstory is that he loses his factory job. There's fighting, police arrive, it's scary and sad. This is from a real event in 2009. At Songyang Motor, workers went on strike. Police cracked down hard. Over a dozen people died, some from violence, some from suicide. The show took this real tragedy and turned it into Gi-hun's story. But here's what really shook people. When the recruiter hands Gi-hun a card, the number looks fake, right? Wrong. That 8-digit number was real. It belonged to a woman who had no idea until thousands of prank calls started flooding in. One YouTuber even tried calling it on camera. No answer. Netflix had to step in. They apologized and edited the scenes. A small mistake, causing big chaos. And the prize money? It's not just big, it's massive. The prize pile looks huge on screen, but it's not just TV magic. 45.6 billion won. That's about 38.5 million US dollars. One of the biggest fictional cash prizes ever shown. Enough to change anyone's life forever. And the story behind the game? It almost never made it on air. Hwang Dong-hyuk wrote Squid Game in 2009, but Korean producers said no. Too violent, unrealistic, even though the story was about real struggles. Hwang said, "I wanted the story to reflect the struggles of real-life characters we've all met." Years passed. He gave up. Then Netflix came to Korea in 2018 and saved the show. The next fact? It goes back to one game's surprising origin. That frantic candy-licking scene? Hwang Dong-hyuk did that as a kid. Same trick, same candy, same pressure. And during filming, he tested it again. But why did Hwang choose this next song? For a massacre. The answer says everything about the games. That eerie jazz cover playing during red light, green light, not just background noise. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk picked Fly Me to the Moon on purpose. Its soft, romantic tone clashes with the brutal massacre on screen. Absurd, elegant, a perfect mirror of the games themselves. Beautiful on the surface, deadly underneath. It's a symbol of the strange, twisted world Squid Game lives in. And what about the VIPs? Their story has its own surprising twist. The VIPs look cold and smooth, but their lines, they weren't easy. Originally written in Korean, their dialogue was translated into English, often by non-native speakers. John D. Michaels, VIP1, said, "Non-Korean performers often act with dialogue that is translated by a non-native, sometimes even by Google Translate, so it can sound unnatural. To make it worse, the actors only got their own scenes. No idea of the full tone." Jeffrey Giuliano, VIP4, shared a mistranslation that stayed, "My first line? Listen, I'll give anybody some slack. That's not what people say." He fixed it later, but the original stayed. Plus, masks and distance made yelling lines even harder. The result? A mix of mystery and awkwardness. Fun fact, the actor who plays VIP4 is a viewer of our channel, which is pretty cool. And the doll? Her story is deeper than you think. That scary doll? She's not made up. Her name is Young-hee. She comes from an old Korean schoolbook. Young-hee taught kids how to behave. She had a boyfriend named Cheol-soo. Together, they were examples of good manners. Squid Game changed her from nice to terrifying. The real statue was even shown in a museum for a short time. And Gi-hun's number? It has a special meaning too. Gi-hun's number, 456, wasn't picked by accident. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk gave him the last number on purpose. It stands for the everyman, the ordinary person who suffers the most but gets ignored. The Los Angeles Times said it best. The protagonist, down on his luck everyman Gi-hun, gets the last number, 456. He's at the very bottom of the food chain. This reflects Hwang's own struggles with poverty. He asked why the rich keep getting richer while the poor keep losing everything. 456 becomes more than just a number. It's a symbol. Last to join, first to suffer, a man crushed by the system, and next, one character's accent sparked a nationwide debate. Kang Se-byuk's North Korean accent didn't just stand out, it started a nationwide talk. Actress Young Ho-yeon trained with real defectors and dialect coaches. She mastered the Hamgyong accent, but only uses it when speaking to her brother or broker. The rest of the time, she switches to the Seoul accent to stay hidden. One fan said, "I watched with my boyfriend who's Korean, and he pointed out Se-byuk has a North Korean accent. Non-Korean viewers would have no clue." Her performance got praise for authenticity, but some fans noticed small slip-ups. This role went beyond acting. It sparked a real cultural conversation. And what happened next? Netflix faced an unexpected problem no one saw coming. When Squid Game blew up worldwide, Netflix broke records, but not all for good reasons. South Korean internet provider SK Broadband sued Netflix. They claim the show caused a 24-time spike in data traffic. Their network was overwhelmed. They demanded Netflix pay for the damage. The Seoul Central District Court ruled against Netflix in June, saying, "SK is seen as providing a service provided at a cost, and it is reasonable for Netflix to be obligated to provide something in return for the service." Netflix estimated the 2020 fee around $22.9 million. SK said Squid Game made Netflix South Korea's second largest data user, right behind YouTube, but not all was bad for Netflix. The red light, green light doll didn't just scare viewers, she became a global meme. Fans copied her robotic voice on TikTok, danced with creepy 3D versions, and turned her into one of the most popular Halloween costumes ever. A video with her original Korean audio hit over 44.5 million views in just 10 days. Others reached 123 million views as people played the game in malls and on Roblox. Even a 3D animated doll dancing to songs like EXO's Paradise got over 53 million views. She wasn't just scary, she was everywhere. And the VIP masks? There's a wild story behind them. Each VIP mask wasn't just a design choice. The art team modeled them after predators. Lions, bulls, deer, panthers, bears, and eagles. These masks show power, coldness, and primal force. They're symbols of control and dominance. Every mask tells a story about who really rules the games. And the red light, green light doll, it wasn't just for show. That giant doll in red light, green light, not just a spooky statue. It had real motion sensors built in. Even a tiny twitch like a foot moving would set it off. A team watched every movement live, making the tension on set totally real. For the players, it wasn't just acting. It was pure, nail-biting suspense. And the recruiter's card? It hides a secret no one noticed. The recruiter's card only shows 3 shapes: circle, triangle, and square. But here's the twist. They match the buttons on a PlayStation controller. No X though, that's the one left out. This simple design made the card iconic and unforgettable. A tiny detail with big meaning. And the VIP room? It's not just fancy, it's something darker. The gold, the masks, the strange human furniture. The VIP room wasn't just for show, it's a predator's lair. The VIPs are hunters watching their prey fight to the death. Every detail screams power, control, and cruelty. Blood sport hidden behind luxury. And Sang-woo's name? It hides a bitter irony. Sang-woo means mutual help. It's about working together, but Sang-woo, he does the opposite. He betrays his closest friends to survive. The name is a cruel joke, a mask hiding his true nature. And Gi-hun's number? It was never random. Player 456, the very last number, the final man standing. This wasn't by chance, it was destiny written in numbers. Gi-hun's number was the story's anchor, a symbol of the everyman who fights to the end. And the piggy bank? It was bigger and heavier than you think. That giant piggy bank above the dorm? Not CGI. It was a real acrylic prop. When filled with money, it weighed over 500 kilograms. The ceiling had to be reinforced with steel just to hold it safely. Every coin, every bill, real weight, real pressure. And the music, it's hiding secrets too. The music in Squid Game isn't just there to fill the silence. Fly Me to the Moon plays during the red light, green light game. It sounds soft and pretty, but it makes the scary violence feel even worse. The Blue Danube plays during tug-of-war and meal scenes, calm and peaceful music, right when things get intense. Director Hwang used this to make the show's violence feel more shocking. Peaceful music makes the bad stuff hit harder. And the guards? Their masks mean way more than you think. The shapes on the guards' masks aren't random. Circle means worker, triangle means soldier, square means manager. But this is more than symbols. It's a strict military-style hierarchy. Workers can't talk unless spoken to. Bathroom breaks are watched. Break the rules? Immediate execution. Everything is built for one thing: total control and obedience. And the players? There's a reason they're never called by name. Throughout the games, players are only called by their numbers. No names, no identity, just a number on their chest. This isn't just a detail, it's a way to strip away who they are, turning people into objects, a tactic borrowed from real prisons and military systems, control through dehumanization. And the frontman's office? It hides a secret you might have missed. His office looks like pure luxury, steel, glass, shadows everywhere, but it doesn't feel free, it feels like a cage. The design is no accident. It shows a man with power, who's trapped just like the players. He's not just running the game, he's stuck inside it. And one player's name? It carries a quiet but powerful meaning. Ji-hun means wisdom and glory. Her quiet strength wasn't just in her actions, it was in her name. Her selfless death gave Se-byuk a chance, a moment of hope in the chaos. Her name reflected that silent power, and those symbols on the card, they come from childhood games you've never seen. The circle, triangle, and square on the recruiter's card, they come from old Korean street games like Gongi and Ojingjeo. Director Hwang wanted something simple, easy to spot from far away, something that reminded him of childhood, familiar but also a little creepy, a perfect symbol for a deadly game. And the character names? There's a surprising story behind them. Gi-hun, Cho Sang-woo, even Oh Il-nam, they're not just made-up names. Director Hwang named them after real friends he played games with as a kid. Even the cop and his brother, Jun-ho and In-ho, are based on people from his life, a personal touch hidden in the story. And the marbles game? Its set wasn't CGI, it was something real. Unlike the CGI-heavy glass bridge, the neighborhood for the marbles game was built for real. Bricks, walls, sand. The production team handcrafted a fake suburb. They wanted players and viewers to feel nostalgic, like stepping into a childhood memory. And the tug-of-war platform? It wasn't just high, it was terrifyingly real. The tug-of-war wasn't just intense on camera. Actors were strapped into real harnesses. The platform lifted them over 10 meters, about 33 feet, above the ground. The drop below was padded, but the fear they felt? Completely real. And the next moment? 2 players broke down for real after a scene. During the marble game in episode 6, Lee Yu-mi, who plays Ji-young, and Even Jung Ho-yeon, who plays Se-byok, couldn't hold back their tears. When the camera stopped rolling, they broke down for real. Behind the scenes, they hugged and sobbed, a raw release after one of the show's heaviest moments. And the Dalgona candy? Its story goes deeper than you think. The Dalgona candy in episode 3? Not made by props, it was crafted by Eun-young Hwang, a 37-year-old street vendor from Seoul. He's been making dalgona for over 8 years. For the shoot in June 2020, An and his team used 15 kilograms of sugar to make 700 candies. Today, he still sells them from a tiny street stand. After the show blew up, fans queued for hours. So long he couldn't even go home for a week, and joked, "We are thinking we should place a rifle here as well," referencing the candy game's deadly stakes. Before Squid Game, he sold under 200 a day. After, over 500 daily. Dalgona went from a fading snack to a global challenge. From TikTok videos to cafes across Asia. And the dorm? It was built to crush more than just bodies. The dormitory where the players sleep? Not CGI. The production team built a huge physical set with exactly 456 beds, one for every player in the game. Production designer Chae Kyung-sun wanted the actors to truly feel trapped, crammed into this claustrophobic space. The realism helped show the desperation and loss of identity. The dorm became a character itself. This real set made performances raw and believable because the pressure was real. And the glass bridge? Its height isn't what you think. The glass bridge looks like a deadly fall, but the set? It was built just 1.5 meters, about 5 feet above the ground. This low height kept the actors safe. CGI and camera angles did the rest, making it look like a deadly drop. Actress Jung Ho-yeon said the scene still felt pretty scary. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk confirmed the fear was real. And Sang-woo's last move? It carries a meaning deeper than it seems. Sang-woo's last act wasn't just giving up, it was him admitting the game's destruction, a final attempt at redemption. By choosing death, he shifted the burden of survival, making Gi-hun carry the guilt. And those shapes, circle, triangle, square, they mean more than you realize. Those shapes aren't random. They form a visual language, inspired by the Korean alphabet and childhood playground games. In Korean, the shapes match letters in Ojingeyo Game, Squid Game. They also bring back memories of games like Gongi. Layers of culture and nostalgia hide beneath the brutal contest. And the frontman's mask? Its design hides a bigger secret. The sharp, angled shapes on the frontman's mask, they come from Cubism, an art style that breaks things into pieces, showing many sides at once. This mask reflects his complex, hidden personality, perfect for a man trapped in moral gray zones. Art books by Picasso and Van Gogh inspired the design, and the colors of the uniforms? They have deep roots too. The green tracksuits players wear, they're based on old Korean kids' sports day uniforms from the 70s and 80s. The pink jumpsuits for the guards? Bright and bold, designed to show power and control. Director Hwang picked these colors to bring childhood memories into the brutal game, a subtle way to mix innocence with danger. And Netflix? They had no idea how huge this would get. Netflix knew Squid Game would be popular, but they didn't expect this. It quickly became the most watched show ever on the platform. Millions worldwide tuned in. The story and characters connected in a way no one predicted. And the frontman? His role almost looked very different. Early drafts of Squid Game had the frontman as a player. He was supposed to compete alongside the others, but the creator changed that. Now he's the masked leader running the whole game, making the story darker, more mysterious, showing the strict hierarchy behind the scenes. And Squid Game didn't just change TV, it made people want to learn a whole new language. After Squid Game exploded worldwide, people wanted to learn Korean like never before. Language apps like Duolingo saw huge jumps. New Korean learners grew 40% in the US, 76% in the UK, just 2 weeks after the show dropped. This surge is part of the bigger Korean wave. K-pop, movies, and TV shows gaining global fans. Netflix even teamed with Duolingo to add Squid Game words and phrases to help fans learn easier. And on set, most actors didn't even know the full story. To keep reactions real and raw, director Hwang Dong-hyuk kept secrets from the cast. Jung Ho-yeon, who plays Se-byok, sometimes got her script just a day before shooting intense scenes. Even Lee Jung-jae, Gi-hun himself, said the cast trusted each other to bring honest emotions. This behind-the-scenes strategy made every moment hit harder. And what happened behind the scenes? There's a safety detail you might not expect. Squid Game's intense scenes were no joke. To keep everyone safe, medical teams were on site at all times. They were ready to jump in whenever actors or crew needed help. Because the show pushed limits, safety had to come first. And the games? They inspired something you won't believe. Squid Game wasn't just a show, it sparked real games everywhere. Parties, team-building events, themed cafes, people recreated the game safely for fun. Team bonding runs a squad game challenge, where teams compete for points, not survival. In New York, an immersive Squid Game experience lets fans play classics like Red Light, Green Light. These versions focus on teamwork, skill, and fun, showing how the show leapt from screen to reality. And Halloween costumes? They became something huge the very next year. In 2021, Squid Game took over Halloween worldwide. Green tracksuits for players, red jumpsuits for guards, these became the hottest costumes. Stores like Spirit Halloween saw massive demand. Sales of white slip-on Vans, the players' shoes, spiked nearly 10,000%. Even celebrities like Blackpink's Lisa and Lizzo showed off their Squid Game looks. The show wasn't just TV, it became a cultural phenomenon. And next, something surprising happened with the candy. The Dalgona Candy Challenge wasn't just a game, it sparked a huge worldwide craze. Sales of this traditional Korean candy soared. Dalgona went from a fading snack to a global sensation overnight. And the show's budget? You won't believe how much it made back. Squid Game was made on a modest budget, about $21 million for the whole first season. That's roughly $2.4 million per episode. But Netflix estimates it generated nearly $900 million from new subscribers and viewers, over 40 times its budget back. One of Netflix's biggest financial hits ever. And the watch time? The numbers are staggering. In just 4 weeks, Squid Game racked up over 1.65 billion hours watched on Netflix. It became the most watched series ever on the platform at the time. This massive viewership helped Netflix add 4.4 million new subscribers in a single quarter, doubling their growth from the previous year. The show didn't just entertain, it changed Netflix's entire business. And behind this success, one man controlled every episode. Unlike most shows with many writers and directors, Hwang Dong-hyuk wrote and directed every single episode of Season 1. He spent 6 months just on the first 2 episodes, getting feedback to perfect the rest. As I mentioned earlier, the pressure was so intense, Hwang later said he lost 6 teeth from stress. For Seasons 2 and 3, he stayed the sole writer and director, working under tight deadlines. His full creative control gave Squid Game its unique, consistent vision. And Netflix? They only found Squid Game after a key move in 2018. Netflix's big push into Asia began in 2018. They opened a Seoul office to find fresh stories with global appeal, looking for the next Stranger Things. One key executive, Kim Min-young, remembered director Hwang Dong-hyuk from his films. When Kim read Hwang's old Squid Game script, he saw something special, different and fresh, exactly what they wanted. Before Netflix, Korean producers rejected the show. Too violent, too unusual. Netflix's Seoul office gave it a chance. That led to Squid Game's explosive 2021 success. And Season 2? Its games were chosen with a global audience in mind. In Season 2, the games changed. They picked childhood classics everyone knows. Rock, paper, scissors, Russian roulette. Not just Korean games, they wanted the whole world to get it. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk said the goal was to spark childhood memories, but turn them into deadly challenges. That way, tension hits everywhere. And there's a clever nod hidden in Season 1, a meta moment involving the frontman's actor. In Season 1, Episode 6, during the marble game, player 240, Gi-hun drops a surprising line.
Go to the Maldives for a while instead, and have a mojito too.
Mojito?
Like the movie. Lee Byung-hun's in it.
This clever meta reference breaks the fourth wall, naming the actor who plays the frontman inside the story. It blurs the line Lee Byung-hun exists both in and out of the Squid Game world. And Season 2? It shows a new twist in how players vote. In Season 2, voting became part of the game. Players wear patches on their green tracksuits to show their choice, red X or blue O. This makes the tension clear for both players and viewers, a small detail that adds big drama. And what happened next? The production took an intense turn. To keep the story seamless, Hwang Dong-hyuk wrote and filmed Seasons 2 and 3 together, about 11 months straight, from mid-2023 to mid-2024. Originally one big story, split into 2 seasons because there was so much to tell. This back-to-back shoot let Netflix drop Season 2 in December 2024, and Season 3 just 6 months later in June 2025. The intense schedule took a toll on Hwang, but what about the frontman's new name? It holds a hidden meaning you might miss. In Season 2, the frontman returns as player 001, using the fake name Oh Young-il. In Korean, Young, Yong, and Il sound like 0 and 1, so his name is a clever code, 01, matching his player number perfectly. This mirrors the original player 001, Oh Il-nam, hinting they both hold special roles in the game's secrets. Fans have spotted this smart Korean wordplay, adding layers to the story and characters. And the music? A haunting song makes a chilling comeback in Season 2. In Season 1, Fly Me to the Moon played during red light, green light, a chilling mix of innocence and death. In Season 2, Episode 3, the same song returns, performed by singer Gi-hun. This callback links the seasons, showing the games evolved but kept their eerie tone. The peaceful melody plays over deadly stakes, highlighting Squid Game's dark themes. And there's a tiny detail with the frontman's hands, a switch that might mean more than you think. In Season 2, the frontman struggles to spin the top with his right hand, fails. Then he switches to his left hand, and it works perfectly. A subtle but important move. The actor, Lee Byung-hun, is right-handed. Playing left-handed was a challenge. This hand switch hints at deeper truths about the frontman's identity and control. And the actor's real hand? That challenge runs even deeper. Lee Byung-hun, the frontman actor, is naturally right-handed, but his character often uses his left hand, especially in key scenes like the spinning top game. That meant Lee had to practice acting left-handed, a tricky challenge. He worried about mistakes during filming, but made it look smooth and natural. This tiny detail adds layers to his mysterious, careful character. And the physical moments on set? Some hits were very real. In Season 2's six-legged pentathlon, the slap between player 120, Hyunju, and player 044, Seon-yo, was no act. Park Sung-hoon, who plays Hyunju, was told to slap for real, to boost the scene's intensity. After hitting co-star Chae Kook-hee, Park immediately apologized by kneeling. The actor's commitment made the moment raw and powerful, and respect plays a key role too. A single word reveals deeper acceptance. In Season 2, Young-mi calls Hyunju Unnie. In Korean, Unnie means older sister or close older female friend, a respectful, caring way only younger women use. This shows Young-mi recognizes Hyunju as a woman. That matters because Hyunju is a transgender woman. And respect like this isn't always easy in South Korea. This small word quietly shows acceptance, giving powerful representation for gender minorities. And in Episode 5, there's a playful nod to Korean culture, a toss compared to a famous baseball star. In Season 2, Episode 5, right after the six-legged pentathlon, player Dae-ho laughs and says,
And I saw you threw it underhand, like, bah, like that. It was like watching Kim Byung-hyun throw.
Kim Byung-hyun is a famous Korean MLB pitcher known for his unique style and World Series win. This fun reference shows Squid Game's deep ties to Korean culture. And just ahead, a small but meaningful milk moment connects Seasons 1 and 2. In Season 2, the frontman, Young-il, offers his milk to player 222.
Have this one too. I don't want it. I can't drink milk anyway.
Echoing a quiet moment from Season 1 when Gi-hun gave milk to Ali.
Take mine, too.
Milk here isn't just a drink, it's a symbol of care, trust, and vulnerability. Gi-hun couldn't drink regular milk.
Hey, is there any chocolate milk? I can't drink the normal kind.
He's lactose intolerant. Player 001, Oh Il-nam, understood this, even comparing Gi-hun to his own son. In Season 2, the frontman says,
Just take it. I don't want it. I can't drink milk anyway.
It's not proof they're related, but a powerful emotional link between seasons. And the fan theories? They dig even deeper into hidden family ties. Fans have spotted clues suggesting Oh Il-nam, player 001 from Season 1, could be the frontman's father. Both share the number 001, an unusual link. Their names, Il-nam and Young-il, sound strikingly similar in Korean. Il-nam once said to Gi-hun, "My son was just like you." After a talk about milk, the frontman also refuses plain milk in Season 2. Season 2 reveals the frontman and Detective Jun-ho are half-brothers, opening questions about family ties. But different last names and vague connections leave fans wondering, is this family secret really as simple as it seems? And while the show drops hints, it never confirms, making this one of Squid Game's biggest mysteries. But this fact about the next game, it's absolutely insane. Unlike many scenes in Squid Game that blend real sets with CGI, the huge arena for the Mingle game in Season 2 was 100% physical. A giant spinning platform holding about 300 people, lit by 2,000 bulbs, gave it a bright carnival vibe. Built over 3 months inside South Korea's massive Daejeon studio cube, the set made the actors feel truly inside the game. The playful, colorful look clashes with the deadly stakes, ramping up tension like nothing else. Overhead camera shots captured the chaos and scale, pulling viewers deep into the madness. It's a wild example of how far the production went to make Squid Game's world real and intense. But the next fact, it dives into a crypto scam that's just as wild. In Season 2, player 333 Myung-gi talks about a fake cryptocurrency called Dalmatian coin. It's a scam where the people running it take money from investors, then disappear. This is like a real crypto scam called Squid Coin. After Season 1, its price went way up. Then the creators took millions and left investors with nothing. The show uses this to warn us about how risky and tricky crypto scams can be. But the next fact is about a player with a very mysterious and strange role. In Season 2, player 044 is a shaman, a kind of spiritual guide in Korean culture. Shamans, called mudang or baksu, connect with spirits to help with health, luck, or life problems. This player whispers spooky predictions and performs rituals tied to old Korean traditions. Shamanism is still practiced today and has grown popular, especially with young people looking for hope. Squid Game uses this character to show how deep spiritual beliefs can be, even in tough times. And the next fact, it's about a familiar face many almost missed. Jung Bae, player 390, first appeared for just a few minutes in Season 1 at the racetrack with Gi-hun. It was so quick, most viewers didn't even catch it. Then in Season 2, he's back. But again, many fans didn't realize it was the same Jung, Gi-hun's old friend, now desperate enough to risk everything again. His return adds weight to the story, and his fate fuels the fight ahead. But speaking of confusion, player 125 isn't who you think he is. Fans got confused online. They thought player 125 in Season 2 was VIP3 from Season 1. Why? Because the actors' names are almost the same, but they're not the same person. Player 125 is played by Lee David. VIP3 was played by David Lee, also called Lee Daiwit. Different actors, different characters. Player 125 is totally new. Not a hidden VIP in disguise. And speaking of surprises, Gi-hun's drawing of the recruiter is a hilarious meme. In Season 2, when Gi-hun and Woo-seok are hunting the recruiter, Woo-seok pulls out a goofy hand-drawn picture taped to a mannequin. It's simple, exaggerated, like a meme. Fans spotted the style immediately, recognizing it from Korean internet culture, especially animator caught animation. This little joke adds humor to an otherwise tense moment. And the recruiter's face? It hides a secret you won't see at first glance. In Season 2's Russian roulette scene, Dong-hyuk's face tells a story. One side looks calm and confident, the other side is scared and unsure. It's a clever lighting trick, combined with subtle movements. Without a word, we see his inner battle. Part control, part fear. And Dong-hyuk's role? It's a first in his career. Dong-hyuk has been a star since 2001, known for kind, romantic, heroic roles. But in Squid Games, he plays the recruiter, his first villain. Cold, sadistic, manipulative. He tricks desperate people into deadly games, pretending to help, but really controlling them. Dong-hyuk wanted to try something darker, and this role let him do just that. His chilling performance made the recruiter unforgettable. And right after his death, there's a tiny moment that hints at more. In Season 2, Episode 2, right after the recruiter shoots himself during Russian roulette, Gi-hun talks to Choi Woo-seok. But if you look closely, the recruiter's eyes open just a little. It's easy to miss unless you're watching like a hawk. And speaking of things that shouldn't be there, the next fact involves something not even part of the cast. The Deadly Glass Bridge game? It's based on a Korean kids game called Jingjumdali Kyeonyogi. In that game, children test their balance by stepping only on certain stones to cross a river without falling. It's about bravery and fate, a perfect metaphor for Squid Game's dangerous crossing. Director Hwang said this was the hardest game to create. Unlike other games, it had no direct childhood memory to lean on. He mixed the stepping stone idea with the fragility of life. Each glass panel is a risk. One wrong step means death. 2 parallel glass bridges were built for the set, and players had to guess which panels were safe. It's suspense and danger wrapped in a childhood test. And after the show, South Korea saw some unexpected boosts. After Squid Game exploded worldwide, South Korea saw sales soar. Dalgona candy, the honeycomb treat from the show, became wildly popular. Vendors reported long lines and huge orders, both in Korea and abroad. And the green tracksuits, they sparked a global fashion trend. Analysts call it the Squid Game effect, a hit show boosting a country's economy by promoting culture worldwide. Exports of Korean snacks and clothing jumped over 10% in the months after the show dropped in late 2021. This craze didn't just stop at food and fashion. It pushed Korean culture into the spotlight, drawing fans to other K-dramas, foods, and trends. And the show's title? Even the font has a story. The Squid Game logo isn't just letters, it's Korean culture painted on screen. The font looks like traditional Korean calligraphy, bold, jagged edges, thick brushstrokes. It matches the story's harsh, intense vibe, and those shapes, circle, triangle, square, they connect to the game's rules and hierarchy. The design grounds the show in Korea's heritage while pushing its dark, serious tone. And the show's success? It made Emmy history. At the 2022 Primetime Emmys, Squid Game made history. It was the first non-English TV show to win major awards. With 14 nominations, it walked away with 6 Emmys. One of the biggest? Lee Jung-jae became the first Asian actor to win Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series for playing Gi-hun. The show also won for directing and guest acting. It proved Korean TV can compete with the best worldwide. And just wait, there's more groundbreaking wins ahead. Squid Game broke barriers at the 2022 Screen Actors Guild Awards. It became the first non-English show to win acting awards. Lee Jung-jae took home Best Male Actor in a Drama Series. Jung Ho-yeon won Best Female Actor in a Drama Series. The show also snagged Best Stunt Ensemble, one of the most awarded series that year, a major milestone for Korean TV and global recognition for non-English shows. And the biggest secret? Only 2 players have ever played Squid Game twice. Gi-hun, player 456, isn't just a winner. He played the Squid Game twice. First in Season 1, where he took it all. Then again in Season 2, back to try and shut it down. Hwang, the frontman, did the same. A past winner, player 132, returning disguised as player 001 to keep control. Only these 2 have braved the game twice, showing how Squid Game recycles players, but never in the same way. Curious about every show that tried to copy Squid Game? Check out the video on screen to see what happened to them.